This is amazing if you're not blinded by the sun in the lens. So here we have the school, the driveway, my shadow. Oh, I look very tall in that, don't I? And we're going to do Pinmill, then maybe on to Shotley. I might just go to Pinmill, travel up to Chelmsford, walk up to Chelmsford, I presume it's pronounced Chelmsford or some such. So we're coming up to the, I don't know what this is it maze? These tall plants? I don't know. It's absolutely beautiful today. I couldn't miss the opportunity today. So leave the bus up here and then it saves fuel, saves driving all the way back to Thorpe, going home, doing nothing in particularly important, and driving all the way back. So it's saving fuel, good for the environment, and good for me as well, I suppose, going for a walk. It's very good for the mind and soul. Can't really explain why, but it is. It's very, very therapeutic. Excellent therapy. Just lets you think. Although sometimes you can do a bit too much thinking. That must be the school supply. It goes into the ground, and yeah, still, we're not here to look at the electricity networks. Wow, well this is, I'm going to be soaked by the time I get to the other end of this. This has really grown up. This has taken hold in a big way. So we're going down into the foresty bit, so we'll be out of the sun in a little while. Well, that was interesting. We've just walked through there and it's early in the morning. Look at the state of me. Okay, into the, this is where I normally get stung every time I've been through here. Managed to, there we go. So we're in a, this should be more autumnal than this. Just listen. This is just something else. Just something else. I personally, a lot of people like the autumn because of the colours I've said this before, I'm not a lover of the autumn. Not, you know, it's beautiful, the colours, I agree that the colours are nice, but to me, everything's dying. I much prefer the spring. Because everything's coming to life. And when I came down earlier on this year, the birds are going absolutely nuts. And it's absolutely lovely, new life. The autumn, so this is the last vestiges really of the summer, and the last day apparently of this beautiful unseasonal sunny weather. So managed to get permission to leave the bus at the school today. Obviously if there are events on at the school, they just haven't got the room, so I have to clear off. But what would you rather be doing? Driving back to Thorpe and having to come all the way back again, or doing this? As they say, it's really a no-brainer. So I'm going to walk around the outside of this now. So yes, here we go into this. It's a very, very interesting walk this, because you do get some varied scenery. Possibly by the river. I learnt something the other day, that oak trees, we've seen a few oak trees in the past by the coast, by the riverbank. Apparently oak trees are relatively impervious to coastal conditions, which is obviously why you find them. And they also have an ability, among other trees, I've seen other trees do this, but they have an ability to send up shoots from the roots of a healthy tree can send up shoots from the roots. And so that's why sometimes you have a circle of oak trees around a bigger tree, and that's called a mott, apparently. And I found that out because one of the songs I played on my Cone radio show was Mott the Hoople and Roll Away the Stone. And I thought, well, if I find out what mott means, apparently it can mean a deadbeat person as well, I think, something like that. But anyway, one of the meanings of mott is a small group of oak trees around I don't know if it applies to other trees or whether it's just oak trees, I'm not sure. But the things, you just find out things all the time from when you least expect it. So I'm going to forfeit my breakfast today, because one is cost. Yeah, you can't keep spending out for breakfast that costs the best part of £20. And the other thing is healthiness. I've already had a banana today, so that'll keep me going for a little bit. But my diet, if a nutritionist saw my diet, they would, I don't know what they do, but they wouldn't be very impressed. They certainly have a few things to say. My diet's terrible. I shouldn't be alive, really. But I'm glad I am. Let's turn you around. There we go. So we get our first clear view. Oh, behind that clump of trees up there is actually a sewage treatment works. I noticed that on Google Earth. There we are, and there's Pinmill, if you can see it with the sun shining in the well, there's a fire up there. I don't know what's on fire. Look at that water though. That is you could sail a toy boat on there. You could sail a toy boat. Still onwards. I think from Pin Mill it's about 6 miles to Shotley. It's a fair distance, and that was impressed on me when I got the bus back from Shotley back to Woolverstone a couple of months ago. I was surprised how long the bus ride was. I thought I never would have walked this again all the way back. It wouldn't have been time. The thing I found with Pin Mill, that although in the pub, the staff in the pub are excellent, very polite, very friendly, the general people in Pin Mill aren't that friendly, and that's the same with a lot of these little riverside hamlets, whatever, if you like, villages. The people don't like outsiders, and it's pretty apparent, but you know, tough. It's the outsiders that keep the pub alive in a very big way, because it's quite an important venue. There's a little car park up the road from where you can park. Well, obviously a car park is where you can park, isn't it? But there's a car park, and it's very reasonable. It's about £1.60 for the whole day. You've got a little boat yard just behind this hedge, as you can see. Stuff going on, things moving about. So here we are, Pin Mill. Absolutely calm, like a mill pond. So we've just come up from Pin Mill, from that direction, and now we climb some stairs because we're heading to Pin Mill Cliff. I'll be interested to know how it was all formed. Sudden change in landscape. So this is Pin Mill Cliff, and if you can see, there is a very steep slope. In some places it is more cliff-like than a slope. All the trees presumably helping to knit it all together, otherwise it will slide into the, I imagine, all the roots form a sort of binding, don't they? I'm getting low on battery, so I might have to limit my filming. There we are. Oh, there's the source of the smoke we saw earlier. Oh, there we are. You get a good idea of this. You know, that would be very easy in the dark. That is a sheer drop. Wouldn't do you much good falling down there, and that's the source of our smoke. There we are. Someone's having a little fire. So it becomes a little up and down. This is the gentle one, but there are a couple of quite severe slopes. Test me to the fullest, I can tell you. And there's another. I don't know if you get an idea of it from the video. That's quite a way down there. Here's what I meant about the changing scenery. You sort of get the lot on this walk. Look at these wonderful trees. Sadly, I don't know what they are. You probably do. Oh, it's so beautiful. It really is beautiful. and you can see, no, not quite yet, there is a point where you can see the bridge over the Orwell. We're going down a bit of a hill now, which is a bit taxing. Can't really see that on the screen, but we are going down. We're going downhill rapidly. Hopefully not too rapidly. And then we go up again. So we've got a sort of valley here. It's very, very interesting. Maybe glacial, the work of a glacier, don't know. Yeah, so although it's high up, it does go down as if something as big has been through here, like a glacier. If I sound like I'm talking out of the back of my head, I do apologise. There's a little path down there which presumably leads to the boats. There are boats which are habitated by people. And now we're going to go up so we've just come up a few hills, and I haven't got my smartwatch on today. It's a very modestly priced smartwatch, and I bought this watch and walked up Malden Hill. There's a big hill in Malden which walks up from the river into the town, and when I looked at my heart rate, it said my heart was doing 140 beats per minute. Now whether it's entirely accurate I don't know, but it felt like it was doing about that. So anyway, we're going to sit down this lovely chair, and it's there we are. That's a dad and his son in memory of. So I like to join them for a sit down. Several weeks ago I sat in this very seat, and I must have been here at least 3/4 of an hour, and probably an hour. It was just so tranquil, so peaceful, so wonderful, just sitting here and just letting nature in, really. You know, letting nature do its job, do its stuff, you know, whatever it does to us. Marvellous. Marvellous. So as we leave the woods behind us, we're now coming out and down. It opens out a bit more and starts to get more coastal, as you will see. There we go. So here we are, out in the open once again, and it's all coast path from now. I've just had a very unpleasant experience with a pheasant. Just walking along quietly and serenely minding my own business. All of a sudden this pheasant, I've spooked this pheasant, and it's right next to and behind me, sort of thing, in the rushes. My God, frightened the life out of me. Yeah. So it's all pretty much similar to this now, all the way to Shotley. We're on the coast all the way now. Ah, we're upon a wooden walkway now, which is similar to the ones up in Norfolk when we did our walk up in Norfolk, Heacham. But this one is sadly a more half-hearted affair because it starts there and finishes here, and we've got to walk across this. Oh, look at this. Right, I've got to walk across that log. I'll tell you afterwards if it ends in disaster or not. I did it. So I've just had to walk across this log holding on to a barbed wire fence. What can go wrong? I'm still here to live the tale. I'm still here to tell the tale and live the tale. I'm not walking back. It's definitely the bus back. It can get a bit unpleasant at times. I should think in the winter time when there's been a lot of rain, it's even worse. A lovely little bridge and a couple of steps. I don't remember this bit. Well, I have been through here before. Ah, what was that? Ah, that's what it was. This is the slightly, what's the word, not irritating, but frustrating part, because there are parts of this walk, as you can see, because of the marshiness I expect, where you have to deviate quite a bit from the water's edge. And yeah, so here are our oak. Is that an oak? I'm not sure, but if they are, here's a large, rather spectacular oak tree, rather pretty tree, and the smaller trees around. So this is farmers' land, so they probably wouldn't have had a chance to really germinate there or grow there. So we've got our smaller ones that the roots have thrown up. As I say, I wondered why these trees were doing so well by the river, but apparently they're relatively impervious. And presumably in the olden days, it would help them build the ships because the trees were close to where the ships were being built, I imagine. So there wasn't only one reason they were made of oak, because the oak is very, very tough and resistant, but it would have been because they were readily available near the point. There we are, the two smaller ones. That's a lovely tree. I love that tree. Look at the way it... Oh, I love it. Right, we're down to quite a low... Our battery is becoming depleted, so I need to limit my speaks. This is very interesting. This looks like it's an old little harbour of some sort. There's no evidence when you look this way. That's definitely been cut out. You can see the old wooden stakes as well. So we're now coming to the part that can fool the novice. So we're walking along the River Orwell. Eventually we will see the cranes at Felixstowe port, for the container shipping. So the mistake the novice can make, which I did last time, is say, let's me turn you around. Yippee! I can see the cranes! We're nearly there! Wrong. We are not nearly there. Those cranes are about 2 miles away. But because of their humongousness, they just look like we can almost reach out and touch, but they're still a couple of miles away. So I know what to expect now. Before, I didn't. Oh my God, they're not getting any bigger. As I'm getting closer, they don't seem to be getting any larger. Of course they are, but they're so big that it's a bit of an illusion actually. So we've still got a way to go. So we're currently walking along a levee. I suppose it's a levee, this raised bank. I wonder if this was done after 1953 when they had the terrible floods. Give a bit of protection, who knows. Anyway, I'm walking along this levee with my shoelaces undone because they got soaking wet, and I thought, well, if I leave them undone they'll be flapping about and they might dry off. But walking along a levee by the edge of a river with your shoelaces undone, what can go wrong? There's a calculated risk, I think. I'm getting hungry now. The thing about having the breakfast at Pin Mill, it's very nice, very enjoyable, but it does slow you down a bit. I seem to feel a bit more live through not eating, if that makes sense. Feel a bit lighter. Well, I will be lighter, of course. I suppose your body's not tied up with digestion. It can provide more power for walking. Because the old battery level is getting a bit low now. We're down to 14%, so hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit of Shotley. So I'll just sign off for now. Someone's had a nice little barbecue type thing here. They've actually tried setting fire to the seat they sat on, but I'm going to sit on this and just get my breath. Oh God. I nearly fell off it as well. There we are. A half burnt timber. Not everyone can say they've sat on a half burnt timber, can they? Oh, this is really rather nice. I thought I'd just sit here for a lark, but it's actually rather good. It's rather nice. So this is actually how peaceful this is. I haven't muted the sound. I've not done anything with the sound. This is exactly as it is as I sit here. You can hear a pin drop. Wow. Wow. Just met some nice people walking the dog. Just enjoying this beautiful summer's day, and it's not even summer. Anyway, my battery power is down to 12% now, so I think this is about the last bit of video. I might have a little bit for one more piece, but I'll save it so I can take some pictures, because there's quite a big ship in at Felixstowe port. I mean, it looks very big, this one. So I've enjoyed it, and I hope you are too. I hope you do too. I've just checked on Vessel Finder, and apparently that rather large ship is the Marie Maersk, however you wish to pronounce it, around about 200,000 tons. Yeah. So I think this is going to be the last video now. We've made Shotley, as you can see, and we have the marina behind us, if you can see that in the sunshine. And so now all it remains is to find somewhere to get something to eat and sit down. I'm worn out. So we are now at the confluence of the River Stour, which goes off to the right there, out to sea, and the River Orwell. It's quite a very interesting part of the world, because you've got Felixstowe, Britain's largest? I think it's pretty up there, isn't it? Felixstowe. Then you have Harwich, which is still a port, and that handles the passenger traffic, that handles the Stena, line to Holland. You have Landguard Fort in the distance, where I do some volunteering work. Got a beautiful marina. I don't even want to think about how many pound notes are tied up in there. None of mine. None of mine I can safely say. And we've got all these seats arranged here, so you can just come up here for an afternoon if you like and just watch the containers being unloaded. That's all our stuff from China, whether it be Panasonic, Bosch, anything like that. It's all on there, due to be unloaded. So again, thank you for watching. I'm just using the last of the battery now. It's going to die any second now. So there's the old water tower for the HMS Ganges, which was a training establishment for 15-year-old boys. When they raised the school leaving age, that shut the place practically. Why they couldn't adjust it to 16, I don't know, but that's the reason it closed. They raised the school leaving age. I would have thought there would have been a way of keeping it open, but there we are. It's going to be houses now, but they're keeping the mast. They're keeping the mast, and they're keeping at least one of the buildings, the Nelson building, and that's going to be the HMS Ganges Museum. So we're going down into the foresty bit.